Hello and welcome from Budapest. This is Hungary Reports, starting off Public Media M1's foreign language news hour. I'm Arpad Szőci with the latest from Hungary and the Carpathian Basin. Thanks for joining us. Hungary's National Food Chain Safety Office has launched another sweeping investigation into so-called double standard products. Altogether, 280 goods are being looked at, which are supposedly the same brands being sold in Hungary, Austria, and Germany. However, possibly inferior versions of them are being sold in Hungary. Should that be the case, it could be illegal.
The seasoning is more salty, and the cocoa powder is less tasty. The stock cube lacks natural spices, the fish fillets have no meat, and the butter biscuits do not include butter content. These are just some of the differences discovered by the National Food Chain Safety Office. Products sold under the same brand name in Hungary, Austria, or for example in Germany, have been continuously tested since 2014. And these results weren't just found in Hungary, but also in Slovakia and Romania. Therefore, Hungary, together with the Visegrad countries, turned to the European Commission and managed to get a common EU directive prohibiting double standard quality. This means that it is not allowed to supply the Eastern and Western European markets with products of different quality. The National Food Chain Safety Office has now launched another comprehensive investigation to see whether multinational food producers are complying with the regulations. 280 products will be compared in the coming months, including meat, dairy, cereal, bakery, and confectionery products, soft drinks, and various non-perishable foods. The manufacturers will be involved in the inspections by the National Food Chain Safety Office, which will inform them if differences between products are found. The office will also suggest how to change recipes, which has already happened before. One of the confectionery manufacturers immediately standardized the composition of its peanut butter cream distributed in several countries after the problem had been discovered.
The government is preparing to make a major generational change in agriculture this year. The goal is to get as many young people as possible into the sector. Currently, only 5% of those working in it are under 35 years of age. The Ministry of Agriculture also wants to make this branch more attractive by offering additional support and initiatives.
Fewer and fewer people work in livestock farming, and farmers are getting older and older as well. Land cultivation has a similar situation. Farmers say that more and more of them sell their land and look for office work, for example. On this farm in Újkígyos, some 7,000 tons of corn can be stored or grown. The business is profitable, but the owner doesn't know yet whom he will pass the production on to. I would like to pass it on to somebody sooner or later who can continue the business, he said. In Hungary, 95% of the farmers are middle-aged or older, and fewer than 6% of those working in the sector are under the age of 35. In addition, 7 out of 10 farmers have no plans who will inherit the family farm or land. 2020 is the year of generational change in Hungarian agriculture. The Minister of Agriculture spoke about this when he announced this year's goals. He added that the goal was for more young people to find jobs in agriculture. However, digitization and climate protection, for example, are also strongly supported this year. According to the ministry, people can continue to depend on state aid policy. In 2020, an area payment scheme of some 1.35 billion euros will be distributed. In addition, farmers will have the opportunity to apply for an agricultural subsidy of around 300 million euros and a credit line of the same amount. We will support irrigation development investments, continue the rural development program, and land deforestation, the minister said. Last year, Hungarian farmers produced enough food to feed 20 million people, and its value reached some 8.25 billion euros. This means that in 2019, the output in the agricultural sector increased by 3% compared to a year earlier.
The government program launched 3 years ago to renovate and remodel Hungarian castles and manor houses will continue. So far, work on 34 structures considered national monuments were finished. This year, another 9 will be restored, costing almost 180 million euros.
The castle in Eger is the most popular one in Hungary. 400,000 tourists visit it each year. The view, the museum, and the ancient monument itself attracts the locals as well. They decided last year to renovate some parts of the castle. That included repairing the gate tower and the drawbridge too. The castle will be renovated at a cost of almost 6 million euros. On one hand, the south reception building, which will ease accessibility from the south, restrooms and ticket offices will be established here for a smoother arrival. Next, here it'll be the Varkocs Gate, which is a new attraction and sets a new image. Also, we would like to open a movie theater in the south courtyard, Csabaringer said. And this is the Esterházy Castle, which stands near the old lake in Tata. The monument has been empty for 3 decades. They started renovating it last year. The 2-story main building, the whole inner courtyard, and the park area at the back were renewed so far. According to plans, it will open its gates to visitors in the summer. Just like the Venkem Castle in Szabadkígyós, built at the end of the 19th century. There is a scaffold and construction is still ongoing, but soon you'll be able to visit the castle. The tower, the roof, the facade, and part of the cellar is being renovated too, along with cleaning out the imposing park around the building. Around 9 million euros will be spent on building works. Before the renovation, research was done, and as a result of that, I think everything will be as it was in its time, the mayor of Szabadkígyós said. In the National Castle and Mansion program of Hungary, 34 monuments will be renewed, 19 castles and 15 mansions. The program was launched back in 2016.
Sunday was the anniversary of the Hungarian military's worst defeat in the Second World War. On this date, in 1943, Soviet forces attacked in the Voronezh region of the then Soviet Union, basically encircling most of the Hungarian Second Army. Estimates are that 120,000 were killed. Only about 40,000 were able to escape. It's considered one of Hungary's biggest military defeats.
People wearing contemporary uniforms and carrying field gear started a memorial tour in Sopron on Saturday commemorating the 77th anniversary of the Soviet breakthrough at the Don Band. I find it important, especially in today's world, to commemorate the Hungarian soldiers, the fallen soldiers as our ancestors, this traditionalist said. In Pécs, the fallen soldiers are commemorated with military honors. Member of Parliament Péter Hoppá said that even though the number of victims compared to Hungarian losses suffered at Mohács in the 16th century at the hands of the Ottoman Empire, they still wanted to erase this from the nation's memory for decades. But now it is our duty to show this generation the resilience of the soldiers of that time, whatever the circumstances were, said Hoppá. The National Military Memorial Park of Pákos remembered the events that took place 77 years ago with exhibitions. The tableaus give an insight into the history of the main stages of the Hungarian Second Army, starting with their arrival at the front until their tragedy. The military during the battles of the Don, the ones who were drafted and fought in the trenches, probably met the most tragic ends. The president of the Don Valley Tribute and Comrade Association, Gábor Károly Berdó, said, "The Hungarian Second Army was established in 1940 and commanded to the Eastern Front on command of the Germans in 1942. From sources available, Hungary provided its soldiers with the most modern armor and equipment. Despite these efforts, the quality of those didn't match up to the Soviets. After persistently guarding a 200-kilometer-long front line, the Hungarian troops were defeated at the Battle of Voronezh in January of 1943, vastly outnumbered by the Red Army. The death toll of the 200,000-man army reached 120,000. Until this day, there is no definitive information on exactly how many were injured and captured."
The Pannon Astronomy Center in Bakonybeil, north of Lake Balaton, offers visitors lectures at its planetarium and ultra-modern telescopes. There are also other interactive facilities showing the history of astronomy, starting with the Italian astronomer Galileo to the Apollo space program. The Astronomy Center is open in the winter from 10 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon. And this weekend saw the beginning of carnival festivities, at least in Debrecen, in the east of the country. They're known in Hungary as Farsang and will continue till the end of February. As usual, there were costume performers to set the mood. The fun continues for the next 6 weeks, and it's a great way for visitors to let their hair down or don other identities. And don't forget all the masked balls, too, which are also part of this observance of Lent. And that's all for now. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll be back at the same time the next night also. Please stay tuned for our Russian, German, and Chinese language news programs. Thanks very much for watching, and bye-bye.